Haha. Hello guys. I think my lock screen speaks for itself. I feel like a lot of people haven't been watching Lilo and Stitch, and I think they should rewatch Lilo and Stitch, the story about a alien finding a family.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
For some reason, people don't understand the importance of family, but an alien does. Guess what, guys? I went to another march. Me and Madison ended up going to the Families Belong Together march in Los Angeles. I only started going to marches about a year ago, and I feel like every time I go to marches, I get a different perspective, visualizing what it means to a lot of Americans to go and march for something they believe in. And so that's what we did. So me and Madison woke up and went to the Families Belong Together march. Hello guys, good morning. It's 11 a.m.-ish. We're at the Families Belong Together march in LA because families are important. And I want to support family reunification. I don't know if you guys have been watching the news recently, but you should. A lot of children have been separated from their families when they're trying to immigrate into the United States, specifically from countries of the southern border. When they try to cross the border, a lot of them end up being in detention centers, and kids end up being separated from their parents. I know, very sad. To the protest, the first thing that we saw were Japanese Americans playing the taiko drums. Usually when you go to protests, you hope to see different walks of life, different people going over there to support something that they believe in with other people, and it's just like beautiful to see just such a culture showing support for groups who need help, because as you know, Japanese Americans have gone through such a thing called internment camps. During World War II, America had fear that many Japanese Americans were spies or they would turn on the United States, so a lot of Japanese Americans were sent to internment camps and taken away from their homes. So a lot of Japanese Americans suffered because of that. Now we bounce to the present day. Many Japanese Americans don't want to see that happen to a lot of people who are trying to immigrate into the United States, who are ending up in these detention centers, in these camps, and they don't want to see another group go over that. And obviously for this Families Belong Together, a lot of the speakers who went up said a lot of things about how Hispanic people and Latinx communities have been affected by this situation. I have to commend someone who has just become like one of my role models recently in the past year. If you guys haven't watched previous videos, I have shown appreciation for this show on Netflix called One Day at a Time. I think you should watch One Day at a Time, and I told Di to watch One Day at a Time, and I'm telling everyone I know to watch One Day at a Time because it's so good. I hope One Day at a Time, like, over time they find out about this channel. Don't say that, because I had my friend Jashley watch One Day at a Time, and she went through that series so fast. I would literally be Abuelita's assistant. You can quote me on that. I am down. I am free. But it's a show that a lot of like immigrant kids and immigrants can relate to. Real life. I'd be one of Elena's friends. I feel like Elena would go to our college. I can show you guys where they live. They're very like big on like social justice. I feel like this college is like their part. One Day at a Time. One Day at a Time is one of my favorite shows in television of all time. I see myself watching that show coming from a family of immigrants, so it's just refreshing to see something like that. Aside from the show being as great as it is and addressing topics as well as it does, the showrunner of One Day at a Time has just shown the significance of media representation. Obviously, the show is about Hispanic representation in TV, and at times I find myself questioning, like, why is media representation so important to me? Why is it so important to a lot of minority groups? With a show that's being centered around a Hispanic family, Gloria has also started an initiative along with the showrunner Vida on Stars to make One Vida at a Time. One Vida at a Time is an initiative to ask all writers' rooms in television to pledge money to end family separation. She and the showrunner Vida have shown that they are powerful storytellers who are telling their story both on and off the screen, and that is just some Ohana means family.
Family means nobody
gets left behind
or forgotten. Yeah.
They showed up at the protest, said some words about that, and I was just so happy. My heart was filled with what they had to say.
She left everything she knew in the middle of the night running here for her life with her 3 little children. And what drove her here is what drives all of us. She wanted to protect her family. We all want to protect our family and to keep them safe. And because of her courage, I get to live her dream every single day, and I don't take that for granted. I can't bear to think that when my grandmother came here at her most vulnerable, instead of a path to citizenship, she had been locked up and my mother had been taken away from her. And this is exactly, as we've said so many times here today, what is happening to families like ours.
The unity of the 77 television shows and counting that have joined the cause to help these families has been incredible. So far, we've raised tens of thousands of dollars to continue the fight against these inhumane policies. As long as whole families are being kept in involuntary detention, as long as our Latino brothers and sisters are being dehumanized, how can we be okay with this? No. This is beyond politics.
Yes.
Woo! This march started with the notion of hope, that we as a society have an ethical obligation to take to the streets, to shout, to scream, to sing, and to do something when confronted with the unspeakable. By being here today, you've proven that when imagination combines with the will to speak up, the will to offer help to those who are in need, and the will to be uncompromising in our principles, hope can turn into something far more powerful, people. Hope can turn into reality.
I'm so happy because when things like this happen and there are some bad events and unfortunate things that happen, there's always something that gives me hope.
There.
They just do something that's like so good and so wholesome that just makes you feel so hopeful about humanity, faith in humanity restored. After the rally was over and my feet were hurting, me and Madison started marching along with others through LA. Ended up, I don't know what happened with the crowd, but they were all... Are you shooting yourself or are you raising the sign? I'm doing both. My feet hurt. Ooh. Yeah. I don't know how I felt about the rally being yeah. I can't send it. Thank you. We lost? We willingly separate ourselves. Yeah, but that's because it was a little crowded and hectic. I don't know where they're going. We're going to try and rejoin them somewhere else. You hear them? They're here. But where are they going? We're not going in the right direction. So far from the federal building. There's just this rogue march on loose. I don't know what's happening. Because you're not, like, you're literally not supposed to protest on sidewalks. It's like the rule. I love safety. marching back around.
Yeah, we don't know where we're.
I don't know what this is.
Okay, we're going to the freeway entrance. We're going to shut the freeway down. We're going to be those people.
And so you have a lot of communities other than the Hispanic and Latinx community speaking out on this, because family separation isn't just what happens at the border. It holds a history within a lot of groups in American culture and American history. Having Japanese Americans show their support for Hispanic and Latinx immigrants who tried to unite their families together and go to America for a better life shows the empathy between these two communities. When you go into the African American community, you see that their issue with family separation is the prison pipeline system. Slavery was kind of one of the earliest forms of family separation, where kids were forcibly separated from their parents. I think like the biggest takeaway from this is to know that family separation is not a thing that is new to America's history, and it's happened in the past. It is a responsibility for a lot of Americans to show empathy for each other and to understand what each other have gone through. I think at the heart of this whole protest, it's all about the importance of family and why family shapes you into who you are to be in the future. Yeah, I will see you guys with a brand new video next week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you took something away from it through all of the rambling and me probably not looking at the camera straight into the lens, but you know, that's okay. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten.